Thank you, Dolly and Benjamin, for leading us with the song service. Today is a wonderful day because it is Sabbath day as we worship the Lord together as church family through Zoom. We want to thank and praise God for giving this Sabbath day rest to us. And we also want to thank God for being faithful to his promises that never fails. And as you're all aware, this is the last AY program of the year, and we'll be presenting certificates today. As we start the program, I want to welcome each and every one of you to feel happy in the presence of the Lord. May I now request Bofo to do the opening prayer.
Let's pray. Our Father in heaven, we thank you for this wonderful Sabbath day. And as we're on this service and we're about to praise you for everything that you've done for us throughout this past year. We thank you for all the blessings that you have given us. And we thank you for being able to help us throughout these series of AY programs so that we may be able to praise you. And thank you for all the things that you have been able to learn from everything that different people have taught us. Help us to always know that you are there to guide us, and help us so that we may be able to remember all that we have learned throughout this year in the AY programs, so that we may share it with those that we meet. In your name I pray. Amen.
Thank you, Bofo, for that opening prayer. It's now time to present the certificates, but before presenting the certificates, I thought we'll quickly look at the background of how Adventist Youth Ministry began. So I'm going to share my screen. Can you all see my screen?
Yes, Saka.
Yes, okay. The history of AY Ministries. So if you see, it was first in 1879, the first youth organization in the local Seventh-day Adventist church began when two young boys, Harry, 16 years, and Luther Warren, 14 years, started to pray. And in 1901, the General Conference officially voted into existence the Young People's, sorry, I'm not able to see the screen, the Young People's Organization under the Sabbath School Department. And in 1907, the General Conference Council approved the formation of the Youth Department within the General Conference, where Elder M.E. Kern was elected the first GC Youth Director. And name was finally agreed upon, and they called Missionary Volunteers. They've changed the name a couple of times. It was originally Missionary Volunteers, but then they changed in 1978 to Adventist Youth, and commonly known as AY Department. In 2005, General Conference session voted the name Youth Ministries Department, which encompassed all the three age levels of youth ministry, that is Adventure Club, Pathfinder Club, and Senior Youth Society. And 2015, General Conference session further adopted a name change to Adventist Youth Ministries, which we have now currently. And these are the objectives which Mrs. White wrote in the Signs of the Times in May 29, 1893. Here she set forth the objectives for the department: to train the youth, to work for other youth, to recruit the youth to help their church and those who profess to be Sabbath keepers, to work for those who are not of our faith. In seeking to reach these objectives, the youth are called upon to pray together and study the word together, to fellowship together in Christian social interaction, to act together in small groups to carry out well-laid plans for witnessing, to develop tact and skill and talent in service to Jesus, and to encourage one another in spiritual growth. And I'm sure our AY department have tried our best to achieve all these objectives listed out here throughout this year. Most of us have seen this symbol. This logo we have used in almost all our program sheets and flyers. So I thought it would be nice if we know what the symbol means. The gospel of Jesus, represented by the cross, is at the center of young adult ministry. And you can also see three angels onto the right-hand side. The three angels' message of Revelation 14:6-12 represents an urgent plea to the world, a message to be carried by the young adults to all the world in their generation. The half globe on the other side represents the world field that should receive the three angels' message. The message is for every tongue, nation, kindred, no discrimination. And the blue color represents loyalty. It is the purpose of the young adult ministry to teach loyalty to God, the mission, and the church. Loyalty is defined as a reflection of the character of Jesus. And finally, yellow color. Yellow is the color of sunshine. It's associated with joy, happiness, intellect, courage, and energy. I'm sure we have had a look at all the ideals of the Adventist Youth Ministry last year also, but I want to emphasize this for you this year too. The aim of our ministry is the Advent message to all the world in my generation. Mission is to lead young people in a saving relationship with Jesus and help them embrace his call to discipleship. The motto is the love of Christ compels me, and the pledge, love the Lord Jesus. I promise to take an active part in the work of the Adventist Youth Ministries, doing what I can to help others and to finish the work of the gospel in all the world. Our Adventist youth principles were not de-looped on a whim, but each principle listed in the aim, mission, motto, pledge, it has a spiritual emphasis. It has a spiritual basis aimed at both making disciples of all men and saving us as we seek to save others. So coming back to the certificates, we have 7 categories of certificates. I'm going to invite Uncle Felix to do the appreciation of each child while we also present the certificates at the same time. So these are the categories that I mentioned before. I don't know if you can see the screen. There are about 8 categories, and we will go through one. We'll be giving to each child under these categories. So first person is Angelina Purti, Uncle Felix.
Before you go on, I just wanted to say something about the youth ministry in the Wallasey Seventh-day Adventist Church. We have taken, although you dated when the youth department in the Seventh-day Adventist Church really took up this thing strongly. This goes way back to the time of Moses, when in Deuteronomy chapter 6, verses 6 and 7, no text that we all know, when God said to them, "These are the words that I command you this day, that you should teach your children when you lie down, when you rise up, when you sit down, and so forth." So we have taken it on board, or we are continuing what God has given to us, so that we can train our youth, our little ones, for the work that God has placed them into. And at this time, as you mentioned, that we're going to go through this thing, we have Angelina. Now, I just need to quickly add something here before we carry on. You will notice that these children, all of them were here they listened to presentation. These are the things about the children. They listened to presentation. They made their presentations that were programs that they were given, and they did that. They engaged in all of the programs. And also now they're using what they learn in church to impact the young people outside. I think you brought that out quite nicely in your what you said before. So okay, going back now to Angelina. As you all know, Angelina has been she's one of the youthful people. She's at secondary school at this time, but she's doing a great work in the church. She, from the very start, when Angelina, Angelina used to sing. She used to sing a lot with, accompanied by her dad, and she still does. And today she plays the piano in church. Very talented young lady, educational wise. And so, it's good that we have Angelina here today. She's a testimony to the church and especially to the youth department. How when you teach children the way that God would have them to, how they can be a credit, not only to their family, not only to the church family, but to the places of learning that they go to, and to friends and relatives. So we are glad that Angelina will be receiving a certificate today to this effect.
Thank you, Uncle. So Angelina is receiving certificate for the AVA attendance. You can see quarter 1, 2, 3, and 4 on there. And the overall attendance is 69%. She's also getting certificate for the books of the Bible study. And the books are Jonah, Micah, James, Hebrews, 1 Peter, and 2 Peter. She's also getting awarded for the convening skills, for the oration and presentation skills. She's been participated in the Desire of Ages series. She's been part of the Temperance series. We have the second page, which you have to print it off when you receive the certificates and you can sign. That's the Temperance Pledge. I'm sure Dr. Jacob had spoken to you. And she's also got a certificate for her participation in the online Bible quiz. This is the certificate for the attendance for the Adventist Heritage Series. Angelina, she always sets standards for others. She's a very self-confident girl. She's not very boastful. She's a very humble child. You can, one can admire her for what she does. So we wish you all the best, Angelina, and may God bless you as you continue to do God's ministry. The next child is Benjamin. Uncle Felix.
Oh yes, Benjamin. I refer to Benjamin as the Samuel of today. You remember the story of Samuel in the Bible, isn't it? And I watched this little boy grow, how from when he was much smaller, he was quite active, and now he's so settled. I was speaking to his dad some time ago about him. When he was called on to pray, how he would clasp his hands and he would present himself, and you see him and you say, well, this is an expression of how when children are rightly trained, how they would behave. And people would see them not only in a church, but outside of the church, and they would say, this child, there's something special about this child. So, and now when he sits, when they have to make, this morning, when he had to do a section of the program, and the way he sat there and he made his presentation, and he said, no, there are some grown-ups who wouldn't be able to do it. So, it's just so good to see these little children, Benjamin Martin, how he's growing from strength to strength. And you say to yourself, it has to be not only what the church is doing, but is a reflection of what is happening in the home. And it's a good thing then when parents can take the time out to share with it, have programs in the home for the children, but not only in the home, but outside of the home, so that they can understand that God loves them and that He wants them to grow in a certain way, so that they can be not only a credit to the church family, but also to help the people that they're going to meet, their peers outside the church, and that will help them to bring them to Christ, and that will make them stronger. So Benjamin Martin is being wonderful, and even just a few minutes ago he was with the song service, and how he's able at this particular age to present what he the church has asked him to do. Can you imagine what will happen what is going to happen in a few years time if God doesn't come back? Then what this little boy is going to be like? He's going to be a mighty worker for God. So I am so glad that he's been presented with a certificate this evening to show how he's developed. And, God, may God continue to bless you. Ben Singi, as we normally call him, Benjamin Martin. And thank you to the parents for doing a fine job with this little fella.
Thank you, Uncle. So here's your certificate, Benjamin. You're being awarded for your AY attendance, awarded for your study of the books of the Bible, for your participation of Desire of Ages, for your participation in the Temperance series. And that's your pledge, and you need to sign them. And your participation in the Principle of Life series, and also your participation in the Adventist Heritage series. Benjamin, recently I have noticed that he's become very sharp, and he can actually grasp things, whatever you teach him. He thinks clearly, and he can actually bring up new ideas and new suggestions. He's very spontaneous. So I really like you, Benjamin. I hope and pray that you would grow in Christ like this. And we wish you all the best from the AY department. Thank you. God bless you. The other child, the next one is Bithya George.
Oh, Bithya is an exceptional little young lady. We have seen Bithya from the time when she was in hospital as a young child, and how prayers were said to this young girl. We know God has a special reason for this young girl today. You see her now as a youngster growing up, and the way she portrays herself, the way she speaks, her diction. And I was speaking to the dad some time ago about her. You listen to her when she sings, or when she's making a presentation, and you say to yourself, there's something extraordinary about this little child. And even when she has to be a convener on a program, you see how she does it with with no fear at all. And she makes a presentation so beautifully, and you can't help but say that, God is using this child to do something great. Obviously, most of them, all these kids are in schools where they're attending schools where they're mostly non-Adventist, and yet they are maintaining their spirituality. So just want to thank God for Bithya. And as I said, she's a great singer. God has given her that talent. She's able to portray what a Christian should be like, and at this particular age, living in a secular society. And so, and also when they have been here doing the programs, for the presentation, they would all stay for the presentation. And I just want to thank God for Bithya. I know that God is going to use her to do marvelous things. We don't know, we can't see the future, but God is going to work through this child in order to do something great, not only for family, but also to the school where she is a student at the moment, that God is going to use her to reach the young people that we cannot otherwise use. So I just thank God for Bithya, and may God continue to bless her parents as they continue to take the responsibility of raising her in the right way, and the church family as they surround these little ones and help them to grow in the love of God.
Thank you, Uncle. So these are certificates awarded to Bithya. Bithya has been awarded for her AY attendance, for the participation in completing the study of the books of the Bible, for her convening skills, oration and presentation skills, for her participation in Desire of Ages series and Temperance series, and Principle of Life series, and also Adventist Heritage series.
Before you go on, Sister Greta, one I missed out is that this girl is very adventurous, because the other day she was playing an African instrument, and she played it so beautifully. What talent this young person has. So may God continue to bless you, Bithya.
Exactly, Uncle. As Uncle mentioned, she's a very well-balanced person.
Yes.
What I have seen, she's very friendly, and she can, easily do complex things. and she'll make it look very simple. And she is also, as Uncle already mentioned, she's also very confident in doing things. We wish you all the best from the AY department, Vidya, and may God bless you. Bofo.
Oh, this is another wonder. You know, I remember Bofo when he first came here. When the parents came first, and then Bofo came after, and I met him. And we have watched him grow, you know, and he's so confident, you know, so friendly, and yet so sharp, you know, mentally sharp and everything like that. When questions are being asked, just like with all the other kids, they're always ready to give an answer. You know, sometimes the older folks cannot answer. I remember the other day I asked a question and nobody would answer, but Bofo answered that question. I can still remember the question. I said, what happened in Scotland in November? And he was the only person who was able to answer and give the right answer. So he's a very sharp boy mentally. We have seen him how he's progressed with playing the musical instrument, the guitar. And whenever he has a part to do, he would always make sure that he's there on time with his guitar. The guitar is bigger than him and he's playing. You know, sometimes it makes me feel jealous of Bofo holding that big guitar and playing it. You know, and God is going to use this young boy to do wonderful things. You know, his parents are God-fearing. Therefore, you see what is happening. Again, as I said before, that he was always present at all the presentation. He stayed for the full presentation, and I don't know whatever took place after the presentation, if he had a feedback with his parents. But again, you can see how God has been leading in his young life, and you know, as he worked, they worked so hard. He worked so hard. Now he's going to be presented with his certificate this evening. I pray that would be a great reminder of how God has blessed him and will continue to bless him in his young life. And we haven't seen, as one person said, we haven't seen anything yet. When these are our young people continue in the school where they're at the moment, they are going to make a wonderful change in the lives of the individuals there. Who knows? We might see some of the very young, their peers coming, attending the church because of people like young Bofo. So, you know, I'm glad that Bofo is receiving a certificate this evening because of how he's progressed and what he's been doing, what he's allowed the church to do with him and his parents to do with him, to point him to God. And now he's continuing to live that type of life. So continue to live your life according to God's will, Bofo. And may God continue to bless you, to keep you, and may you continue to be a light to your peers and your neighborhood.
Thank you, Uncle. So these are the certificates awarded to Bofo. He's been awarded for his attendance. He's been awarded for completing his studies on the books of the Bible, for his convening skills, for oration and presentation skills, for his participation in Desire of Ages series, Temperance series, Revelation series, and Adventist Heritage series. Bofo is such a talented boy. Since the day one I've come to this country, I've noticed this on Bofo. He concentrates so well, he's persistent, he's a doer, not just a talker, he's a doer. Also, he's got a very good memory recall. You know, he's got a very good memory, and he can do anything, any task given to him so easily. And we wish you, on behalf of the AY department, we wish you all the best, Bofo, and may God bless you as you continue to do God's ministry. Jaden.
Oh, young Jaden. Again, you know, it's nice to see these little children as they grow up, you know, from a little baby to now. And oftentimes Cecile would remark about this boy is special in the sense, when he's singing a song, you look at his lips, how he forms his lips, and he's going to be a great singer for the Lord. Obviously, he has a dad who is quite musical, and he has taken the time to teach this little boy. But again, these children are not, these children are looking at what their parents are doing, and their influence is being rubbed off on them. And God is going to use Jaden to do wonderful things in wherever he is, in his at home, in the community where he lives, and in the school that he attends. Just like you said that in in the youth department, one of the things was that you develop the skills in these children to reach other children. And that's what we see with young Jaden. He's musical. You know, when I watch him, I normally say to folks outside of the church, there's this little fellow that we have at church. He blows an instrument that is bigger than himself. I don't know if ever, it looks comical, but to see a little fellow holding that big instrument, and sometimes I wonder if I can play an instrument like this little boy. So now he plays this instrument, and you know, he's a great asset, not only to the church family, but he will be to his school, as again, and to wherever he's called wherever he's called to minister, he will. And I am just so happy that again he's receiving a certificate this evening for doing things that he's been able to do with you know, maybe on their own. They're not afraid to make presentation. You see how he's sometimes he's had to do, for example, a prayer, present the song service, and he's not afraid. Again, you find some of the older folks in the church, they're so shy, but yet you ask these little people to do things in the church, and they're doing it. So may God continue to be with Jaden and continue to bless you, Jaden, as you give yourself to him, just like Jesus did when he was a little boy. He committed himself to his father and his parents, his earthly parents, and in such a wonderful way. He was, you know, how he moved the world. You too can move the world in which you find yourself, maybe in your school, maybe in your community. And so I'm so glad that you're receiving this certificate this evening for all the programs that you have been through and you've sat through. You don't, your mind, you sit there and you don't allow yourself to wander all over the place. Like even children at your age or even older, they would wander all over the place. But yet you've been so settled. Today you're playing instruments, glorifying God. And so I thank God for you receiving this certificate this evening.
Thank you, Uncle. Jaden is awarded for AY attendance, for completing his studies on the books of the Bible, for his convening skills, oration and presentation skills, for his participation in Desire of Ages series, Temperance series, Revelation series, and Adventist Heritage series. So Jaden is a hard worker. He takes a lot of interest and he follows instructions very carefully. He actually thinks very creatively and he can be thoughtful. He is thoughtful most of the times. And we wish you all the best, Jaden, and may God bless you as you continue to do God's ministry. Jeremy?
Here is Master Jeremy, the musician. And, you know, it's interesting. Jeremy is an interesting character, you know, on the instrument and everything like that. But these boys, let me just start with the family. With a few weeks ago, we were at the church and we were setting up the equipment there. And these two boys helped the parents so much. The dad, especially, you see how they interact with the dad, you know, and they're telling the dad because the dad, some of the things, because these young kids, their minds are so sharp and they're telling the dad how to, you know, set up these equipment. But it's not only setting up equipment at church, it's being able to do the things that the church family would have them to do, like reading the scriptures. Oftentimes we ask them to read scriptures, we ask them to lead out in song service, and to be, you know, to do things in the church that otherwise some grown-ups wouldn't do. And they're so committed, you know, that's exactly what God said when we raise our children, what they would do. So I'm so happy for Jeremy. And ever since we have known Jeremy, he would, you know, he was playing a piece of instrument. A few years ago, we had to go to, we had to present, I think it was I can't remember what program we were doing in Liverpool with the Liverpool Central Church. And after the program was presented, the people were talking about the Wallasey Church children, and they mentioned Jeremy. I say yes, you know, because the parents have taken an interest in him, and also the church is taking an interest in him, and they learn very well, very quickly. And they are not, you know, some children would be, oh well, you see what I can do. No, they are not like that. He is always ready to do something and do it humbly. You know, on a Sabbath morning he comes, he goes up there, plays the instrument, not afraid at all, not shy to play a piece of music. If he can't play it, he will tell you that he can't play. So God is using him. And I remember it was about a year or two ago when, about more than 2 years ago, when the music teacher came to the church to hear this boy play. And she was marveling about how this young boy could play a piece of music like that. So, God is using him in such a mighty way. And Jeremy, we continue to pray for you that you would be a light to not only to your the people in your community, not only be a credit to your family, but the church family, but also to be a light to their peers there at school. May God continue to bless you as you receive your certificate, your presentation this evening.
Thank you, Uncle. Jeremy is awarded for his AY attendance, for completing the study on the books of the Bible, for his convening skills, oration and presentation skills, for his participation in Desire of Ages series, Temperance series, Revelation series, and Adventist Heritage series. Jeremy is a treasure. He's a self-starter, and he's also a progressive thinker. He always does a fantastic work, as Uncle already mentioned. Whenever you ask him to do something, he takes things seriously, and he does a very neat work. So we wish you all the best, Jeremy, and may God bless you as you serve God. Melissa.
Oh, Melissa is a star. I remember some time ago, I called at their place because the dad wanted to speak to me about something. And he was remonstrating a little bit about Melissa, I think with her studies. And I said, just leave her alone, you'll see how this girl will progress. And she's really a credit. She's an independent thinker and she would do things in her own time. So, when you watch these little ones grow up, you marvel and you say how God has been gracious. But as I said, when they have to make, how do we know that? When they have to make presentation, they just do it. And they're not ashamed, they're not afraid to do this presentation, not thinking what other people might be saying, about the presentation. But the presentation will come out so wonderfully. So Melissa is, God is using her in a mighty way. And, again, she would be, as the dad was saying, was it last evening, how at school, with her school work, you don't have to say anything to her. She does her work in no time at all, and she's progressing extremely well. But at church, she does the same thing, and even just going up front to conduct the song service. When we were at church, she would go up there and she would start the song service. You didn't have to prompt her to do anything. She would just go and do it. And she's a credit, not only to her parents, but to the church, because oftentimes Liverpool Central Church and those who have heard her have said, how can this little child and how can your children do such a thing? Well, it's because of what the youth department has been doing, and also how these children have allowed the youth department to shape their lives. So Melissa is a credit, not only to our church, but to those who have seen her and come in contact with her. So may God continue to bless you, Melissa. And as you're having this certificate presented to you this evening, that you would always remember this, where God has brought you from to where you are and where he will take you.
Thank you, Uncle. Melissa has been awarded for her AY attendance, for completing the study on the books of the Bible, for convening skills, oration and presentation skills, for her participation in the Desire of Ages series, Temperance series, Revelation series, and Adventist Heritage series. Melissa is such an energetic, friendly, approachable, and a very positive girl, as I've noticed. She always shows compassion towards others, and she's a very loving and caring person. She makes sure everyone around her is happy, and she's happy as well. So we wish you all the best, Melissa, and may God bless you. Melody.
Oh, Melody. I've known Melody from when she was a youngster. Wonderful little child. She was quite active, quite busy running around and so forth. And when they came to the Wallasey Church, it was a pleasure to have her parents and also to have Melissa, because the church didn't have many young children there, and how she has grown. Now she's so settled. the church can call upon her again, just to go up front to do the song service. She's not a scared of or anything like that. She would go up front. She would get, and she's able to get all the little ones and take them up front and to start the song service. She's a good singer. She also noticed that she's playing the instrument quite well, and she seemed to be she will make a good director. She a good organizer, so to speak. So it's just wonderful that this little young person is growing up to be the type of character that God would have. Again, you can see her at school. I can just imagine in a school atmosphere with surrounded by all of friends, and she's able, like who in the Bible, Jesus, when he was a youngster, being able to speak confidently. And this is what you find with young Melody Martin. She has a beautiful voice. She sings well, and again, she is a credit, not only to her parents, but to the church family. And God will continue to bless her abundantly. So again, what we see here is what is happening in their home life. As the parents teach them, these kids are going to grow up to be what God would have them to be. And they would be a credit, not only to the church, but to the community in which they live, because each of these children, they live in different communities, and those communities will be influenced by these little ones for Christ. And may God continue to bless you, Melody, as you continue to allow him to work in your life, in your singing, in your interaction with others, to do well at the school, and whatever you're going to do in life, that you will continue to influence the people that you come in contact with. May God continue to bless you as you receive this certificate this evening, and you can look back on that certificate and remember where God has brought you from and where he's taken you to.
Thank you, Uncle. Melody has been awarded for AVA attendance for completing the study on the books of the Bible, for the convening skills, oration and presentation skills, for participating in the Desire of Ages series, Temperance series, Revelation series, and Adventist Heritage series. Melody is an enthusiastic, hard worker, and a very, very responsible child. Her presentations are very interesting, and it's always been unique. So Melody, you're making a very good example to others, and we wanted you to keep up the good work. May God bless you and wish you all the best. Pranali.
Oh, Pranil, the younger of the group. Now, we have watched this young lady grow from where as a baby to where she is now. She was so shy. Well, when I say shy, as most kids do, she came to church, she would be you just say hello and she wouldn't even look at you, and she would, but now she's praying, she's involving herself with the song service, and she's even able to read. So, to watch her, how she's growing, again, it shows what is going on in their home, how the parents are taking time out to teach them. But here in the youth department, has been training these kids to do what the youth department should really do. These are the little ones who when she's at school, she will be able to help others to understand, maybe to be an example to her peers, and that's what we want them to do, to have that godly example to her peers, because again, the parents won't be able to meet those children, but little Pranel can reach them. So again, we see how she's doing. She's singing in church. She goes up front and sings with the others. She's also, when you call her, ask her to read something, she will read. And who knows, maybe one of these days we'll see her playing an instrument. So God will continue. I pray that God will continue to raise her. She's been attending the presentations. And some of the presentations, although they were quite lengthy, these kids she was always there. She would be, when her parents were around, she would be there and taking part in the presentation. So may God continue to bless you, Pranelli, as you allow him to work in your life, May your parents continue to raise you in the way that He would have you to go, so that you would be a light to the children in your community and in your school.
Thank you, Uncle. Pranali is being awarded for her AY attendance, for completing the study on the books of the Bible, for her participation on the Desire of Ages series, Temperance series, Revelation series, and Adventist Heritage series. Pranali is a smiling beauty of our church, and she makes us all smile. Anything you ask her, like how Uncle mentioned before, you ask her to sing, she'll sing with pleasure. If you ask her to pray, she'll do it, everything with a smile on her face, and she'll do it with pleasure. So we wish you all the best, Pranali, and may God bless you as you grow in Christ.
Yes, carry on. Pranjal. What a beauty! What a wonderful, to see again this young boy, how they're growing, up in the Lord. Well, I say hasn't been that long. This little fellow started to play the instrument, and what great music that he makes. In other words, his life is going to be musical. His life is a life of beauty. And God is touching his life so that he can, touching will be reflected onto other people. And that's what, the youth department has been doing in his life. He's when he had to make a presentation, he would do it in such a way, always, and he's quite structured. He is quiet. You look at him and you say, in his own quiet way, he would present this thing. Even when he's playing his guitar, he would go, if you notice, he takes his guitar in such a way and he plays, he sits himself quietly down and he plays that guitar, all to bring honor and glory to God. And also he's quite a caring fellow. When you look at him, how he interacts with his sister, some brothers can be quite rough, or some, older sibling can be quite rough, but he looks after his sister in such a way. I don't know what he's like in his home, but when you look at him at church and how he behaves, he interacts with his sister, God is really blessing this young fellow. So he has a heart for even those who are younger than himself. And he's blessed the church with his instrument. Oftentimes we're having worship, maybe when we're having our Friday evening programs or Vespers, or he has to do for Sabbath school or the start of church service, he's not as shy. He takes his guitar and he plays this instrument. And again, you make me feel a little bit envious sometimes to see you play strike your guitar strings and produce beautiful music. I can't do that. So God is using you, Pranjal, and may God continue to use you, not only again in your home, not only in the church, but in your school life, in the community in which you live, because that's what God has called, why God has brought you into this world, to be a blessing, not only to the people around you, but also to bring honor and glory to his matchless name. So as you receive a certificate this evening, remember, that is not just given to you because you have done all these presentations, and that's been good that you've been doing these presentations. It's been good that you've been playing your instrument, but it's wonderful to know that you're allowing God to use you to do all these wonderful things. May God continue to bless you and your parents.
Thank you, Uncle. Pranjal has been awarded for his AY attendance, for completing the study on the books of the Bible, for convening skills, oration and presentation skills, for his participation in the Desire of Ages series, Temperance series, Revelation series, and Adventist Heritage series. Pranjal is a very quiet, calm, and a very humble child. But he's capable of doing amazing things. And I've always noticed him taking an extra special effort to get things done, which is really good to see and observe. So we wish you all the best, Pranjal, and may God bless you as you continue to do God's ministry in this church. Right.
Here is our young minister, Ryan. We have watched Ryan grow up. It's a wonderful thing to see these young people grow up. Always, he never shy away from anything that you have placed on his shoulder. He has a broad shoulder, this boy. and you watch him convene a program, and you say it's just so wonderful. He speaks he speaks like somebody who's been trained to do it, and leading a song service, leading out in programs. I know God. You see how God is working in the lives of this character, Ryan, as he shared before with us at school, how we're going back to school, preparing for his exams and so forth, and he would pray, asking God to help him to do what he had to do. And again, God has been blessing Ryan in a special way. When he had to make, well, the presentations that he have made so far have been just wonderful, and he speaks with confidence. And I know maybe this is the thing that, one of the things that will rub off on the smaller ones as well. And I can just imagine when the parents watch Ryan, how he's interacting, how he's doing. Their hearts are bubbling over to see how Ryan is interacting with the rest of with his peers at school. And my prayer is that God would continue to bless Ryan in mighty ways, because again, Ryan is attending a school that is not an Adventist school, but as they commit themselves to God, as he commits himself to God, I can just imagine his parents are praying for them when they leave for school in the morning and when they come back home in the evening, that his will be done in their life and in Ryan's life. And that again, he's coming to an age where they're grown-ups out there who try to influence him. But my prayer is that Ryan would be an influence of good to them. And out of that, we see some of these people eventually coming to know the Lord. So, again, I just give God the praise and honor for Ryan. I haven't seen him play an instrument, but he's willing to take on preaching the word of God. May God continue to bless Ryan. He's a caring young man. He always says yes to what you ask him to do, and he does it extremely well. So continue to allow God to work in your life, Ryan. And as you look back on the certificate this evening, that you would know where God is really, how God is leading in your life. And who knows, maybe in another few years' time, we're going to see you up front, a regular, preaching the word of God. May God continue to bless.
Thank you, Uncle. So Ryan's been awarded for his attendance, for completing the study on the books of the Bible, for convening skills, oration and presentation skills, participating in the Desire of Ages series, Temperance series, Revelation series, and Adventist Heritage series. Ryan is such a genius. He's inspiring, and he takes amazing effort to do things. He is always outdone himself. It is a pleasure to have you, Ryan, and we wish you all the best, and may God continue to bless you.
Here's the other Samuel, young Samuel. We have watched Simon, how he has grown, and he's been very reserved from the start. And I know that he's had quite a bit of issues at the schools where he's been going, but he's shown great resilience, this young boy, and now he's able to. You give him a portion of scripture to read, and he would read it, and he reads with emphasis. He reads with emphasis, and you say, he's going to grow up to be somebody really mighty, doing mighty things for God. And I know God is going to use him in such a way, wherever he is, to help other people to understand that he's an extra special child. I know for his parents, the parents must be well pleased with him, how he's growing up, and they are doing a good job on him. He's always again. He's done little presentation, and he conducted some service, and he prays, and you just listen to how he's articulating, how he's coming around, how he's doing, and you say, God is really blessing him. So again, the parents are doing something extremely well at home, but also the church family has been doing great things for these youngsters. And my prayer is that as Simon at school, maybe in the community where he lives, that he would be a light. I know that the mother was sharing about their next door neighbor, And the next door neighbor children wanted Simon to play on a Sabbath day, and he said no, and some other children would throw in the towel and say, "Oh, all right, I don't think anything is wrong." But Simon was able to say, "No, I can't displease my. In other words, I can't displease my God. These are rules and regulations I have to follow." So Simon is a man, will grow up to be a mighty man. So I call him a young Samuel. He will be a good a man who God can use in whatever time he finds himself. And as he receives his certificate this evening, may he be able to look back and say, God didn't just give me this certificate because I've done something great. God has given me this certificate to remind me how he's causing me to grow for him. Thank you, Simon. Thank you.
Thank you, Uncle. Simon has been awarded for the AVA attendance for completing the studies on the books of the Bible, for his participation in Desire of Ages series, Temperance series, Revelation series, and Adventist Heritage series. Simon is a very good listener. He takes initiative and he is much likable. He grasps things quickly and he follows instructions. We wish you all the best, Simon, and may God bless you as you continue to do God's work.
Just before you go on, let me just quickly say something else about Simon. Simon is very helpful to his father when it comes to dealing out the electronics, because sometimes his father was there. I remember some time ago, his dad was trying to fiddle with the electronics, getting something go, and Simon was able to go and sort it out. So again, you see a little man, young man, and he's doing wonderful, and God is going to use him in a mighty way.
Thank you, Uncle. Vanessa.
Oh, here's another star. Vanessa is wonderful. Well, I've known Vanessa from a baby, and she's just a credit to the church. Actually, in the past when I've gone to Liverpool Church, where just to speak, and the people will say, "What about these kids? And what about Vanessa?" And they have looked at the presentations and so forth. I say, and Brother Charles sometimes would say, How is young Vanessa? And again, just like this morning when she had to do for the tithes and offering, as she made that presentation without any hesitation. And people would they see these things and they say, you people in Wallasey are doing a wonderful thing with these children. Well, obviously, it's the child's ability to grasp quickly, and Vanessa has been like that. She's been a great. She has a keen mind, and she also has a great love for the little ones around her. Sometimes I've gone to their homes and I've seen her helping the mom, just like she has a brush and pan helping the mom around the house. And you say this as a little child, she's able to do this, and she's a credit to her parents, and she's a credit at school, because remember some time ago she shared how she was able to make a presentation in her at the morning worship at school, and the young people in the school are wondering how is it that she was able to make that presentation. Well, she said it's because that's what we do at church. So you see, these children are allowing God to use them. Allowing God to use her in such a mighty way. And again, that's what God has called us to. That's why God said to us to train up these children when they are young, when we lie down, when we rise up, and so forth. So she's be a great credit to her family, to the church family, and she would be a great credit to the church. And may God continue to bless Vanessa as she continues to yield her life to Him.
Thank you, Uncle. Vanessa has been awarded for AVA attendance, for completing the books of the Bible, for convening skills, oration and presentation skills, for participating in the Desire of Ages series, Temperance series, Revelation series, and Adventist Heritage series. Vanessa is the shining star of our church. She's very energetic, she's creative, innovative, and she's a risk taker. So keep up the good work, Vanessa. We wish you all the best, and may God bless you as you continue to do God's ministry. We've also had, these are the children from our church, but we've also had children attending from elsewhere, from other parts of the UK, from India, and from US. I don't know if I can remember everybody's name, but I can remember Jonathan Chinripu, Josiah Samuel, and Pastor Ebby's sons attending us and supporting our AY. So we would like to thank you and really appreciate your presence for being with us in the past year. And I do apologize if I had missed any other names. So it's time, before we move on to the next special awards, we also have appreciation of the teachers, adult teachers. I'm gonna stop this screen share for a minute.
Okay, you can carry on. I've stopped.
Can you see me?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Yes.
Right, thank you. So we've had adult teachers from our church who've been very supportive for the AY, and we would like to take this moment to thank each and every one of them for supporting us throughout the past year. So we have 4 people who are going to speak for the adults. We have Uncle Seelan, Bobby Anna, Brother Elvis, and Sister Seva, who will be sharing their thoughts. Uncle Seelan.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon and happy Sabbath to all of you. Thank you, Greta, for reminding the aims and objectives of the Adventist Youth Ministries Department. I think all those who have joined here along with me in the Zoom agree with me that in the past 2 years, the objectives have been carried out well. The youth department not only, along with the other presenters, taught them, they made the children to listen to them, they participated, and also they made them to present various topics. So I think the objectives have been carried out very, very well. I think thank and appreciate the youth department on the whole, starting with Dr. Prem, Greta, Greta, and Lydia and Johnsy for their hard work. So to start with, I think I'll start with Dr. Prem. What can I say? He is the mastermind of the entire youth program, Adventist youth program for the past years. I think he maybe, he thinks in the night, thinks in the daytime and puts everything in the night, because all these, the programs and the instructions will come mainly during the night time. So as I said, I think he is the mastermind. He also, he's a good director. He knows not only, he knows how to get the work done, not only from the youth department, and also he will use from the youth department, use from the very young person up to the old. So all, so everyone's services have been used in the past 2 years. I think it's, we lacked in the previous years. Yes, we taught our children, but during the past 2 years, the youth department have taken, the teaching children to a higher level. And, I sometimes used to think, will we, the trend that is set now, will we be able to carry on? In case if somebody steps in, they might look at the work that was done in the past 2 years and will think, will we be able to carry on? But I think, yes, by God's grace, we, along with, if everyone supports the youth department, yes, it can be done. Yes, it's, I think, as Elder Felix said, it all starts with the at home, isn't it? As godly parents, when they teach the children, and then it, we need to carry on in the church. So especially want to thank, on behalf of the whole church, I would like to thank Dr. Prem for the wonderful work through his own department and the other church members. That is, it's. I think everyone needs to appreciate. Maybe just clap our hands. All right, okay. Thank you, Dr. Prem. The next one is Bobby. I can't see, is Bobby there? Yeah, Bobby has a big smile. Bobby, it's like, when I see Bobby, I see myself, because, I used to run away from all these responsibilities, and not, even to pray in the church, or, I have to, I had to prepare in my mind what I'm going to say and what I'm going to pray. And Bobby is no different, to present something. For some people, it comes off naturally, like Dr. Prem and Elder Felix and Sister Cecile and Sister Felicia. For some of them, it just, it comes off. But there are, Bobby is like me, have to work double in order to do something. But, even though his field is like engineering and all that, but he has worked hard. Bobby once told me he studies, in order to teach his own children, Richie and Bebo, he had to study. So he studies their maths and science and all that, and then he teaches. So he's a very hardworking man. So I think I listened to his few presentation. It was wonderful. I think he will get more opportunities in the coming year. Well done, Bobby. The next one I have is Brother Randir. Yeah, Brother Randir. Yes, he has all the passion when he, not only when he teaches the lesson study, but when he participates in the, brings out his own points. Sometimes we sit and admire, because he goes so deep. And sometimes to understand that, it's I feel it is a bit difficult, but you need to go along with his thinking to understand. And he loves music. He teaches music to his son Adi, who plays wonderfully. And not only in the Sabbath school, but also while coming to teach the children, he has done well, and I want to appreciate on behalf of the youth department. The next one I have is Elvis. Elvis, my brother, is an all-rounder. He, I don't know why all of a sudden it's echoing. Greta, can you all hear okay?
Yes, Uncle. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. All right. Okay. Elvis does everything for the church. He used to clean and make the church nice and tidy. Anything is given, any responsibility is given, is very, very happy to do in the church. When he teaches the Sabbath school lesson, I used to admire. but sometimes I need to listen very carefully. He loves teaching children. I think on behalf of the youth department, I would like to thank Elvis for his wonderful presentations. May God bless him as he continues to minister the children. The next one is Sister Cecile. Sister Cecile is I think she's an inspiration for me, because, when she starts speaking, she will continue to speak. And, when she tells the stories to children, sometimes she'll, when we go and we just tell one story, but Sister Cecile will start with one story and then she'll move on to another story, and along with the children will be eager to listen. And yes, she teaches children, but at the same time in the church, I think she's the mother for all the children, because she not only teach children, she not only loves, but she's also a bit strict. And when somebody makes a mistake, she's the first one to point and then to calm them down. Yes, thank you, Sister Cecile, for the wonderful presentations in the past 2 years. Sister Felicia, my sister, the godly woman who loves not only her own children and her grandchildren, but loves the whole children at Wallasey Church. Even though you are very far physically, but God has given this provision to join with us through Zoom, to see all the to appreciate our children's accomplishment in the past 2 years. Yes, I used to love, when you teach the Sabbath school lesson and your contributions in the Sabbath school lesson. Yes, I used to think, how can somebody love and appreciate the children's performance so much? So I think you are an inspiration not only to me, but all the whole of the church. And not only the children loves you, but the whole church loves you. But even though you were with us for maybe, I don't know, maybe 1, 2 years or 3 years, but for us, it looks as though it's a very short time. But God willing, we'll be able to see you for, and in this, not only in the church service, continue to see you in the AY programs. Again, it's not only mine, it's all of the church members. It is a privilege for us to teach our own children. So I think the youth department has given us this wonderful privilege of teaching these little ones. As the Elder Felix said, we see them. Most of them are born here. We see them as babies. Now we see them, grown as young adult boys and girls. And some of them, when they do the presentations, we admire so much and see, in such an young age, how is it possible? But I think it's God's grace. It's the hard work of the youth department, and also it's the work of all the other church members. And I pray that in the coming years they continue to learn more about God and share, as Elder Felix said, wherever they go, in their school, in their with their friends, and to their relatives. And may God help us to continue to support the youth department in the coming years. God bless them.
Thank you, Uncle Seelan. Bobby, Anna.
Happy Sabbath, everyone. And when I saw the message that Greta sent me to speak, I thought picked up the wrong one because I'm the one who can't speak that much like an orator. So even when I was studying as well, I can write loads and loads, but to speak, I can't get words in my mouth. But I thought without responding to Greta, I thought I will take up the challenge anyway. I want to thank the AY department for giving this opportunity to speak about our teachers. While the teaching the children is very difficult because, you know, your understanding is different and how you have to present to the children is very different. So you have to work out in a way where you can balance to make them understand. And that's the difficult task that they have. So because whatever we understand in a different knowledge, we should make sure that the children don't misunderstand what we're trying to tell. I've been given the task to tell about Elder Felix, and I think I'm the wrong person to even speak about Elder Felix and about his knowledge. He's the elder who is liked by all the church members and especially the children for his knowledge and the interaction he makes to the children and makes them interact in wherever he speaks and make sure the children understand. And to me, I can compare Felix like a tree of knowledge, because anywhere, anytime you ask him anything, he's ready to speak. And, you know, like I've seen few times where the preachers have not turned up to the church, he's the only alternative in the church. We can't have anybody else to speak, but we have the only pillar there as Felix. And he's always ready to minister to our children, and in a very structured way, where meeting the children's expectations and delivering them to the required knowledge and concisely. You know, Felix always, I've been asking Vanessa about what you like, especially about Felix. Is like, she says that, you know, he always picks up verses from the Bible to any topics and relates it to the Bible, and quotes Ellen G. White's writings as well in a bit detailed explanation. So the children think that explains them in a very better way so that they can understand. So Felix, there's nothing more I can tell about Felix, because you know, everybody knows that he's no great any other than in our church. And the next one I have to speak is about Elder Seelan. I want to thank Elder Seelan for his time he has given to the church and to train the youth. And the main thing the children like about Elder Seelan is the combination of his knowledge with the practical experience he had in his life. And he always puts them together, that whenever he tells about the practical experience, that goes into the brain, and that lasts long into the children, because whenever they remember more about the stories, what he has told, and that makes him more special. And what I like is whenever he tells message, he starts with a bit of humor. And I want to wait for every time he starts to speak, what is he going to come up this time? So his practical knowledge is there. And like every time he tells that, though he's been in the Adventist family, he's a bit trying to get away from it, but still he's been there in the church for a long time, and making sure the children understand when he teaches it. And the children have said to me that every time he speaks to them, he makes sure he asks questions And that every time Brother Seelan is going to speak, the children are ready with the pen and paper. So he makes points to read because they've been asked questions. And then Vanessa says, oh, we have to be on the ball. Otherwise, we'll be, Vanessa, what is this? So they like that way because, they have to be attentive. Otherwise, sometimes they've been a bit slack in listening. But when Brother Seelan comes, they're all very attentive and they make sure they're listening quite in depth. And also a few of the quotes and paragraphs, he explains them in a greater knowledge about Ellen G. White writings as well. So the children are ready and they understand in a better way. And I want to thank Elder Seelan for that. And next person is Elder Joshua, who's been our elder for the last 2 years. And I know he's very busy in his work, and still he has made his time to our youth department. He's multi-talented in his excellent knowledge in his music and also the computer knowledge and also in the Word of God. Whenever he does presentations, he makes sure he puts it in presentations with the various pictures, which are very rare. We can find them normally. And the pictures make it very much interesting to the children and for them to learn and to remember them later dates. He shares the knowledge by quoting the great pioneers of Adventism and also the good authors, where he reads a lot of books and in his presentations. And there's a lot to tell about him, but as we are running out, I think he has done a very good job for the children and in the music and others. Been asked to tell about the panel members, Sujita and also Serva. They've been very good in giving us the practical knowledge, where we had good interactive sessions about question times, where each one of us have come from different backgrounds and we know certain things, how we do back home. But when coming to a different background here in this country and how we normally get carried away with the circumstances around us. But when we talk to Dr. Jacob and Sister Beulah and Pastor Ebenezer, they bring up the actual words from the Bible to see how we have to do things and still keeping God's law in our church and in our activities without getting carried away from the surroundings that we live in. The children who are in schools, they get taught in a different way, but we need to lay our foundation stronger so they will be able to make a good understanding of our beliefs to put them into our day-to-day practices. And I want to thank all of them once again, for giving me this opportunity, and also the teachers, and especially thank again the AY department, Brother Prem, Greta and Jansi and Sister Lydia for doing this fantastic job, where they have taken children to a next level. And hopefully this is the foundation for them. And hopefully they will grow up in this foundation for a better future. Thank you.
Thank you, Bobby Anna. Thank you for doing it so beautifully. Brother Edris.
Happy Sabbath, Church. It's like Bobby. I felt the same way when I saw my name. I said, "How? I think they've chosen the wrong person. I'm a man of few words, so how worthy am I to speak about these men and women of good valor?" But I think maybe they were just targeting the men of few words to say something few words for those chosen. So the first one I've got on my list is Sister Tendra. How would I say? She's very a particular person that I admire when she's teaching the children. She's so interactive and her teachings and lessons are very practical. We are very appreciative of your selfless dedication and the services you render to the children, to the youth, and to the whole Wallasey Church. Next is Sister Ruhama. She's very interactive as well, organized, and the Sabbath School department, the youth department are very appreciative of the services you've been rendering. And of course, Sister Lydia, Sister Jancy, Sister Greta, like I said, how much more can I say about these lovely ladies? Your work is there for all of us to see. You've been very amazing for your dedication. You've been selfless and more dedicated. There's not much words I can say. I particularly like the way you've organized the youth programs, the youth department, cyber school service. So I'm the wrong person, I'm sorry, that was chose to describe and to give appreciation to your services. May God continue to bless you and guide you, and hope that you continue to serve Him the more, and the blessings will be all yours. Amen.
Thank you, Brother Elvis, for your kind words.
It's quite interesting because when I also saw my message, I was like, and looking at the names I had been given, I thought, oh, I don't even know them that much, like on physical levels, as I know the whole church. But at the end of the day, we are not appreciating how we know them, but what they have done, their dedication to the church and their services, their commitment, and we ask for God's blessings. So I almost said no, but then I thought God knows it all. So as Elvis said, if I don't say so much, all we ask is may God bless them and continue to guide and give us more knowledge as we He wants us to learn of Him. The Bible says to train up a child in the way they should go, and when they grow, they'll never depart from it. But you don't give your child to any ordinary adult to train, because at the end of the day, the information they give is so vital to their future. And especially at this age where we have different age levels, the message each child picks has so much impact depending on their background, their previous background, and their environment, and a few other factors as well. So we thank the whole team for their efforts and communication skills, how they have put everything together for us throughout the whole year. But particularly, I've been asked to thank these teachers who have blessed us all year round. And the first on my list is Pastor Ebenezer Daniel. And he's the only one I only know like physically. So first pastor when I first came here was my pastor in Southport. And each time he speaks, you cannot do anything but to listen to him. He just captivates your attention because he speaks of so much practical experiences and his biblical knowledge, how he links it to practical life, brings out the difficulties, the challenges of life, and how you can overcome them. It's just exceptional. And it's always a blessing when you have to listen to him. And this year, we have been so blessed to have Pastor with us. And he's presented topics on child guidance and parenting. Um, Many children are going astray out there, and so to have such a talented person whom you see daily with his family leading their life teach you is so much of a blessing. And so I know Pastor isn't here today, but we thank him so much for all his dedication, hard work, and leadership skills as well, and for we know he's so busy all the time with the churches elite and all that, but he still has time for us, even as children and as the adults as well. And so may God continue to bless him. And as he's done for us, we hope he'll be doing more for us in the coming year as well. So may God bless Pastor Daniel. And the next is Pastor Wasem, who has also presented on prayer series and Adventist heritage. Well, where do we don't know where we are going if we forget where we are coming from. And so to have given us such messages or in series, a whole like series where there's practical experience where he's been. I remember some time ago when he was presenting, he was talking about going when he went to Israel and I think somewhere in Newcastle. So he makes the thing, whatever he's teaching, practical and you understand it. You can follow what he's teaching. And with the prayer series, how do we carry on if we do not communicate with God regularly? And so, thank you so much, Pastor, for your work. As I said, none of them is here, but for their dedication and commitment. May God continue to bless and guide them and give them more knowledge because we have learned more of them this year. And next is Pastor Raj Kumar, who has taken the Revelation series. If we know where we are coming from, but we don't know where we are heading or how we will get there. I think one of our songs says, "Look for the waymarks as you journey on." And so these revelation series, which were revealed by Christ to us to know what lies ahead, have been highlighted throughout this series to us. And as children, we may forget some of these, even as adults, some of them were quite difficult for us to comprehend and all that. But we know these will be revisited again. So, children, don't worry if you got lost along the way. I know that Dr. Raj Kumar, when he speaks, with his level of experience and knowledge, he makes it so much practical as well. And with his entire family, we will not leave them out. I only got his name, but with his whole family who have blessed us throughout the year, we thank them so much and we appreciate their dedicated efforts. May God continue to bless and guide them and give them more knowledge to bless us as well. And then I also have Dr. Jacob, who also took part in the Revelation series, Temperance series, and was also the moderator for the question time. What else can we say? When he speaks, the passion with which he speaks, and you know he's so much interested, he's so learned and with his experience with people of all caliber, and it's just a blessing to listen to him. And we thank God so much that despite the time difference in India and here, sometimes programs have to be, I know they have to stay up or whatever the case, there was never an excuse for them, for him and his wife not to be present during our programs. And so we thank Dr. Jacob so much. And the question time, if we learn so much and at the end of the day we do not understand certain things, then we'll be lost somewhere in the middle. And we thank God for, I believe Lydia brought up that idea that God inspired Lydia. Thank you so much, Lydia, that you brought this opportunity up for us, because sometimes, even as adults, we have questions and we may not be able to find answers to. But when we come together as a church community, which Dr. Jacob led as the moderator, we were able to learn more from every other's experience and also going back to the Bible. And so we thank Dr. Jacob so much for all his effort and time and dedication, researching information for us, and just to increase our knowledge and all with the purpose of drawing us closer to God. And last but not the least is Dr. Beulah, who also presented on Temperance series and was also part of the question time. Um, she is so soft spoken, but you admire her so much. Whatever she is saying, she knows what she is saying, so learned and knowledgeable. And she also speaks with more experience. And we thank God for all these blessed people who are so dedicated to train up these young and old minds. Sometimes the old minds must be trained as well. But they all came to a level where you have the youngest to be Prano and like the oldest, I would say Elder Phyllis, I don't know, possibly Elder Bob, but whoever is there, you get the right knowledge and that you need at that time. And so we've all been educated this year, we've all been blessed, and may God continue to guide us. And to all the leaders, the teachers, the organizers, always says, God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Sister Seva, for beautifully explaining to us. Thank you in the first place for accepting the request, because we've only asked you in the last minute, but you have done it so well. Thank you, Sister Seva. Now it's time to reflect on the past year, and we have 3 children who are going to speak to us. Now, first, we'll request Vanessa, followed by Bofo. Ryan is not with us, but he sent me a note to be read out. So I'll do it after Bofo. Vanessa.
Thank you, Auntie. So I'd like to thank the AY department for the opportunity to reflect on this year in AY. I'd especially like to thank the AY team, who are Prem Uncle Lydiatha, Great Auntie, Jancy Auntie, and all of the AY teachers as well, for doing an amazing job to help us children have a better foundation in our Christian knowledge. AY has helped me in many different aspects through this year, especially as we had the COVID-19, so we couldn't really go outside anywhere. So we had, like, you could kind of say it's a bit of an uneventful life. So we didn't get to do much, but these AY programs were really helpful to me. As we had the weekly services in the afternoon, the special programs, the outings and trips and quizzes and many more, which kept us on the ball at all times. AY programs have ensured to me and to all the other children as well a stronger foundation of knowledge of the Bible. It's also made us aware of how the Seventh-day Adventist community worldwide helps vulnerable children, as we had it in the Sabbath School program, and training them to be stewards of God's creation, which was a true inspiration to me, and I'm sure to all of us. It helped me a lot, as it made me aware of how it doesn't matter where we are in life, but if we submit ourselves to God, then He will make a way for us. It's needless to say the opportunities that we've all been given, ranging from the praise and worship, I remember the 5-point summaries, presentations, and convening multiple programs, which was enhancing our experience for the future as well. I myself have benefited from this, as I've now been able to prepare like talks and presentations and summarize big topics due to my experience from AY. And this, I've considered it very helpful as well, because we have to do this in school. So it's really providing us a really good foundation, even for the little ones as well. I'm sure it's the same to all the children as well. These programs are always designed to engage us children and impact the lives of us, taking present issues and challenges and finding creative and appealing ways to address us. And that's where I also think that sometimes when one of the teachers was maybe a little bit late to join the meeting due to some issues, Lydiatha gave us a surprise quiz on the spot. So we always get really exciting things, and they always make sure that we have our knowledge at the tips, so that when the teachers ask us questions, we must always have our knowledge ready as well during the presentations. The AY team always implements creative ideas to engage us and provide us youth with tools that will help us develop an intimate relationship with Jesus through prayer, Bible study, fellowship, and service to others. And we've definitely been nurtured a lot. We've also had many AY outings earlier on in the year. I think when it was a bit lighter and it was the summer, every afternoon after AY, we'd go out to New Brighton and have a wonderful time with all the other children who were there. It was very enjoyable, and it also helped us to have a wonderful fellowship with each other. And my mum said it was just like when she was little, when they used to all like gather together in the neighborhood. We also, I think a couple of months ago or a month ago, we also went to an AY camp with Sarawata's family, Great Auntie's family, Tendril Auntie's family, and also Auntie Shirley in the mountains. And we went to, I think it was Shom Sheffer in Wales. We had a great time there, and there were several opportunities to connect with Christ with daily spiritual activities, including prayer, devotion, group worship, Bible study, and many enjoyable activities. We didn't have any Wi-Fi as well, So we were able to connect with God easier. So I think that really has helped me as well. I'd also like to thank the preachers such as Dr. Raj Kumar, Dr. Jacob Chindrapu and his wife, and Pastor Ebenezer as well, who have taken on the really difficult topics. For example, Revelation, temperance and health, and desire of ages. And when I used to read the chapters, I really couldn't understand some of it. But when we had these presentations, they broke it down into a really easier method so that we could grasp these key points. I know that Dr. Raj Kumar always used to keep going back to the previous points that he made to make sure that we had memorized the points, and also the same for the other teachers. So it's like a personal mentor. So they always keep asking us questions. If we have any questions, they'll answer it for us, which is really helpful. We also had some opportunities as well to do debates. I also learned about different hymns as well, like the background from our hymn writer presentations, and we also did some on Bible chapters and parables as well. So that's really increased my knowledge. We were able to understand these in more depth, and I'd like to especially thank all the AY teachers for putting so much effort and teaching us these topics in a lot of depth. On the whole, these programs have been used to the best of their ability to nourish and prepare us youth for the second coming of Christ. And for this, I'd really like to appreciate the AY leaders for giving us the itinerary and flyers weekly and everything on time, even though some of us may reply a little late. These have helped me so much, and I'm sure to everyone else as well, and have taught me a lot. And I'm looking forward for the coming year with the more programs. Thank you.
Thank you, Vanessa. That was so much in detail, and it's so nice to hear from children how much they have learned and how much they have observed throughout the year. Bofo?
I'd like to thank the AY department for giving me this opportunity to share what I've learned and how the AY have helped me throughout the past year. From the start to the end, I've enjoyed all programs, which provided me with many chances to be able to learn different lessons from different people, as well as making sure that the children had a chance to present topics of their own interest. Even though the coronavirus came along and stopped us from being able to meet physically and face-to-face in the church, God gave us the blessing of Zoom, which enabled us to carry on worshipping and praising God, as well as unlocking the opportunity to have speeches and talks from people in other nations. I believe that the question time sessions have had a big influence on me by answering some of mine and other children's most burning questions. From the talks about different parables by the children, the Revelation series by Dr. Jacob and Dr. Chabakula, the Desire of Ages talks, and the Steps to Christ series, as well as many others, they helped to establish a strong idea of the life of a Christian and what it should be like, mentally, physically, as well as spiritually. Once again, I'd like to thank the Youth Department for working so hard to come up with all the programs and making sure that people get messaged before the part they play happens. I learned to trust God in all things and to know that His ways aren't our ways, nor His thoughts ours. I also learned the importance of showing temperance while learning about the history of our church and the suffering many people went through. All in all, I learned to do good, not just because my parents or any adult said so, but because it is the right thing to do, and God wants us to do good. By giving me time to share talks, I developed confidence and gained knowledge about topics I knew nothing about. I believe that in the end, it was all God's plan, and that throughout all we do, God will be there to help us and guide us. Just like the disciples gathered the faith to stand by Jesus in the hardest moments, These programs have helped me to be better equipped to share God's word with unbelievers and to be an example to those around, and trusting God, as well as leaving all my troubles and cares to Him as I grow. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bofo, for reflecting on the past year. I'm going to read out what Ryan had sent me. I liked AY this year because of the different topics we explored, a range of topics from the past, with presentations about the history of AY and the future with the teaching of Revelation. We have had great speakers talk to us, such as Pastor Daniel and Dr. Rajkumar, just to name a few. And we also had fellow church members who we see as family talk to us. Children from the church presented their favorite hymns, verses, books. I did the book of James, and it was so interesting learning about the content and how this book is relevant to our lives today. I genuinely enjoyed it, and something I hope continues in the future. My favorite topics was the history of SDA, as I love history and always wondered how SDA spread from USA to all around the globe. We saw a new segment of AY, which is question time, which was something I wanted to see. It was beautifully conveyed by Dr. Jacob and family, and it was answered by church members, which is great since they know how to explain it to our level. I would like to thank Prem Uncle, Lydia Akka, and Greta Auntie for having such an entertaining and educational AY program throughout this year, as without their leadership and guidance, none of this would happen. Thank you, Ryan. That was beautifully written. So we have one last, which is the special awards. Special awards for the children. Before I forget, I would like to, I wanted to say that the adult teachers will be receiving a special gift from the AY, and it will reach to you by next week. So I'm going to share my screen again. So it's the special award for the children. Can you all see my screen?
Yes, Sata.
Yeah, okay. Special awards. The first category of award is the top attendance. And we have 3 children on the top category. Bofo is awarded top first attendance because he secured 100% attendance over the year. He's never missed a class, and he's also gonna get an Amazon voucher worth £15. Congratulations, Bofo, and may God bless you. Melody Martin is awarded top second for attendance, and the percentage of attendance is 96% throughout the year, and she's gonna get a cash Amazon voucher of £10. And the third one is Vanessa for securing top third in attendance. She's got 94% on the attendance, and she will be awarded with Amazon voucher worth £5. The next category of award is for the top books of the Bible, and we have one child among 13. Can somebody guess who that child is? Any guesses?
Bofo.
Yes, that's right. So it is Bofo who is awarded for his top performance in the Books of the Bible online test, and he is being awarded with an Amazon voucher worth £10. Congratulations, Bofo, and may God bless you. The next category of special award is for top online test. We have 3 places, and 2 take the first place, 2 takes second place, and 1 takes the third place. So first place is shared between Vanessa and Melissa, the sisters, and they're going to be awarded with Amazon voucher worth £20 each. Congratulations, Vanessa and Melissa, for securing the top highest score on the online Bible test. The second place is shared by two people again. It's Melody Martin and Bofo. Congratulations, both of you, and you're going to get Amazon voucher worth £15 each. Congratulations, and may God bless you. And the third place goes to Angelina. Congratulations, Angelina, and you're going to get £10 Amazon voucher. Congratulations, children. And we have two more award category. Consistent Performer of the Year. Any guesses? Any guesses? Okay, that is Bofo. Congratulations, Bofo. And you will be also receiving an Amazon voucher worth £15. Congratulations, and may God bless you. The last category of award is for the Outstanding Achievement Award. Any guesses? So,
Vanessa?
Yes, Auntie, it's Vanessa. Congratulations, Vanessa. You will be getting £15 worth Amazon voucher. Congratulations, children. It is so nice to see all of you receiving awards. I can't see you all. Can you see me? My screen's gone blank. Yeah, okay. Congratulations, children. I hope you'll be blessed with the AY program that was conducted throughout the year. We've come to the end of the program. Closing song will be led by Vanessa.
Thank you, Great Auntie. For our closing song, we'll have hymn number 126, In the Bleak Midwinter. Hymn number 126. Sorry, I'm just going to get it up.
Thank you, Melissa. May I request Lydia to do the closing prayer?
Let's pray. Our dear Father in heaven, we thank you for this Sabbath day. We thank you for all the programs we've had throughout the Sabbath. We thank you for the program we've had this afternoon. We see all the work that has been put into this afternoon, into this year. We thank you for all of the children and for all that they've done throughout this year. We thank you, Lord, for how much and they have done and how far they have come. We ask thee that you would bless each one of them. May they continue to grow in your grace. We thank you for all of the teachers that have taught us throughout this year. We thank you for the time that they have taken to prepare and to speak to us. We have learned men and women in our church, uncles and aunties, who have taught us various lessons throughout this year. Father, we pray that you would bless each one of them, bless their ministry. Father, I pray that we would draw closer to you in the coming year. We thank you for how you've led us throughout this year. And may we continue to live a life that will be holy and acceptable in your sight. I pray, Father, that when you come in the clouds of heaven, that you would say to us, well done, thou good and faithful servants. Help us to be good stewards. Help us to be good children. And I pray that you would bless us, lead us, and guide us in the coming days. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.